What's up, people? It's your boy Black Heezy. It is Insights and Chill, and we are on episode 5. That's right, Cinco, we're on episode 5. And I apologize, we have to change the day from Monday to Tuesday, and we have to change the time a bit from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock, just because of some circumstances that I'm not going to go into. But yo, we're international. We're international. We're not in England right now. We're not in Manchester. We're in Lithuania. We're in Vilnius. We're in Lithuania, Vilnius, man. That's where we're at. But so today's topic, right? So as always on Thursday, I gave you guys the vote, and we decided to change it up a little bit. So this episode is the change my mind episode, right? So I gave you guys two topics, right? I said so you could either choose from. I said the education system is irrelevant to real life. That was one topic, and then the other topic was weed is a very bad drug. Yeah. And I said, change my mind. That was the other topic, right? So I got you guys to vote, obviously. And actually, the winning vote came out of which kind of surprised me. I thought people wanted me to talk about weed, right? Not that I have experience with the drug, but I thought people would want me to talk about weed. But anyway, it just so happens that, you guys wanted me to speak about the education subject, which I actually wanted to speak about anyway, because I've done the vlogs on this, and I think I have views on the way the education system is run, especially in the UK. But when looking elsewhere, some of it's quite similar, and you look further north, it's quite different. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the education system. Hello to the people that have just joined. As always, if you want to join me on this chat, and if you have your views to say, just let me know, and we can go live with you, okay? I don't want you people just to be listening to me for whatever. I want you people to interact with me, right? So I don't like the numbers we have here, but we're gonna get some more people joining later on, hopefully. Anyway, let's get this started. So the education system, right, especially in the UK and in the US, actually, I did my research in the US, I think it's flawed. Straight up, let me just say so straight up out the bag, I think it's a pile of absolute doo-doo-ness, right? It's a pile of dog pile doo-doo-ness. It's dead. And I don't think it works. And I don't think it works. And here's my reasons why. First of all, right, I really do think that the education system in the Western world, it destroys creativity. It destroys creativity, right? It doesn't bring out the most in the people that it's designed for. It's designed for the youth, the kids, right? It's designed for people that should have the most creativity, and it doesn't bring out that creativity. And it is essentially a flawed system. Here's how I'm saying it works. It's almost run like a dictatorship. How are you going to put children, right, into and we're talking about at a lower level here. Later on, we're going to talk about at a higher level when we go to college, and then we go to university and we look at them stages there. But from the start of it, at the start, how are you going to put a group of people, right, and think about what this sounds similar to. But you've got a group of people, right, and you take them and you split them up, right? You split them up into sets, right? And you essentially talk to them and dictate them to what they should do and to how they should learn, right? So for example, right, you got a group of kids for say whatever, right? And let's say you have a maths exam. Right? And now knowing me, right, I wasn't the best at maths growing up, right? So I didn't do too well with my exams. And how old was I? 12 years old, whatever, right? A 12-year-old kid, right? I'm in a maths exam. I don't do too well in my maths exam. So guess what? The school decides to put me in a set that says you're at a lower level to the people that are in the middle level or the higher level. Now, how does that make you feel as a child, right? Think about that, right? Think about how vulnerable these young people are, like at these ages, like 12, 13, 14, right? They're very vulnerable. They have to deal with a lot of other shit that's going on in their lives as well, right? So you go ahead and you make these sets, right? And essentially, for me anyway, and the way I feel like the way I've interviewed people, it's essentially a flawed system. It's a flawed system because you're putting me in that group. In fact, at that age, that's not a motivational factor to make me want to do better. And actually, should I have to do better, right? In fact, it's more of a situation where it has an imprint on your brain and it's like, shit, I'm not good enough here. damn, I'm not good enough. And when you feel like you're not good enough, what's that gonna do? That's gonna ruin your creativity, right? That's gonna ruin how you interact with education. And that is on the basis of it, yeah, from the beginning stages. That's the way I look at it, right? That's the way I look at it. And we're living in a Western world, yeah, where the education society basically tells us, right, that you have to get the best grades in order to go to the top college, right? And then in college, it's like you have to get the best grades in college to go to the best university, right? Then in university, it's like you have to go to the best university to get the best job. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking here, really? I'm like, and they teach you that from the very, very, very beginning, and it's like, should we really be teaching, like, telling our people this? How about more like, do the best you can for your damn self? You know what I mean? It's like you're here for your damn self, and you got to do the best you can for your damn self. You're not. It's not. You shouldn't be telling people that do the best you can to go into. That's too much pressure, and I don't think it necessarily works like that either. I'm saying because I'm someone. I've completed the education system. I've been there, done that, fam. You know what? I'm working out. I'm not necessarily. I never got the best grades ever to be where I am now. Do you know what I mean? So I don't necessarily believe that people should be teaching our kids that's how. And I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying. I know a few teachers out there. I'm not saying that the teachers are flawed in the way that they're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that there's a general consensus and a general way that the whole education system is run that it just doesn't make no sense. Now, also, how comes we don't have subjects like free thinking, right? How comes we don't have subjects, yeah, that embrace, right? Embrace creativity and free thinking. Instead, right, we got subjects like English, maths, which are important. English, maths, science, they're definitely important, right? Yeah, but I don't remember the last time I had to use Pythagoras' theorem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't remember the last time I had to use that. You get me? Yeah, but we're currently living in a digital world right now, right? A digital media technology world that is booming, right? That is booming day in, day out. You're seeing people that are coming from left, right, and center that are making these cool. Look at what I'm doing now with you, lovely people on Instagram, right? I'm on Instagram live with you, talking to you people, right, through technology, right? And that these were tools that were created through people that free thought with their minds, yeah, that were able to think creatively, right, and create these kind of ideas. And what I'm saying is that we're living in a world, right, yeah, that at the very basis of it, we don't have that at our grasp, right? In my perspective, you should have subjects that literally say, this is a class for free thinkers. I can't. It's a flipping alliteration. I can't say it properly. But like, you know what I'm saying. So I'm just gonna read out. So Jasmine says here, I agree with you. The flaws because I believe the education system is horrendous for mental health. So Jasmine, if you're still there, like, you can just expand on that, like write a comment. I'm not going to tell you to go live if you don't want to go live. If you do want to go live, then fine. But if you don't, then that's cool. But so Jasmine says that it's horrendous for mental health. I don't understand. I don't exactly know what she means, but in a way, hold on. Before we go live, I think we have someone here. So time wants inviting time here to the conversation, and we're going to see what time has to say on this subject. So we are waiting for time, Regent Bascom. Here we are. Time's coming in. Yo, bro, what's good? Yo, fam, we can't hear you, fam. Nah, blood, I can't hear you. Do you know what? Time. Yeah, put your headphones in. Or maybe it's me. Oh. I'm gonna exit, yeah? Right. I'm gonna add you now, time. I'm gonna add you. So we're just waiting for time, and then we'll get back onto what Jasmine said. Yeah, mate, we got sound. We got
Yeah,
sound.
there you go, there you go. Now I can hear you. Um,
Yeah.
so I think the education system, of course, is always going to be flawed. It's like any sort of system, it's going to be flawed, but it's a necessity. And because it's a system built to support the working world, it's always going to be behind. So traditionally, it was built to create workers. So you just needed everyone to have a base level of understanding to get to a certain point. Now, with the way that the entrepreneurship has developed and the tech world is behind at the moment, it's going to be behind. The tech world changes too quickly for the education system. Now, I do believe it does destroy creativity because it's just trying to train you to work for someone else, and
Precisely.
that is continued all the way through high school as well. It's not until you get to university that some universities promote outside thinking.
So, let me ask you a question, because you say that it's the education system is always going to be behind because of the way the world is developing, and we're developing at a rate where the education system can't necessarily keep up, which I actually in a way agree with you. But it's like, how do we counter, how do we as people, yeah, make sure that our young people are put in the right positions from early to make sure that we do always keep up and we are promoting this free thought creativity from the very beginning? If you have that, if you
So
have, if you,
yeah, so personally, the education system is there to build that sense of community. So when you're very, very young, if you just spend time with your family and you don't ever interact on a level without your parents, you don't love, you miss out on the individual things like how you react in certain situations, how to deal with things about people protecting you all the time. And it's in a safe environment because it's the education system. There's protective parameters in place. I think the protective parameters in some cases are a bit heavy, but that's just the way it is. And I think that your creativity needs to come from the schools. Can do as much as they can do it, but if they give too much free thinking and freedom, it takes away from what the system is built to do effectively. So it needs to come from your parents. I mean, I'm personally been brought up from my mum giving me free expression at home. There's no restrictions at home. You think on your own at home. She lets me make decisions. If I do something wrong, she questions why I believe that was the right thing to do, or if I believe that was the wrong thing to do, why did I still do it? And you need that balance really, because I know you spend most of your time at school, but your parents at the end of the day have a massive effect on what your character is and what you bring to that school.
I think exactly what you're saying. I think exactly what you're saying. You know, we were obviously growing up in different kind of parental relationships, because my mum would have whooped my ass if I ever if I
Exactly.
ever decided
Exactly.
to be like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No,
Exactly.
but time,
Exactly.
yo, respect for what you're saying though, time. Now, I appreciate you giving us the time here right now, yo. Your time, giving us time on Instagram. That's what I like. So we're
Shout
gonna
out.
let him go. Continue watching, bro. Let him go. So basically, what time basically was saying there? The education system can't necessarily keep up with the rest of the world, and technology. And you know what, I understand what he's saying, because it's true. It's not just education, it's a lot of industries that can't necessarily keep up. And you know, in a way, it's like the education system is not necessarily there to give us free thought and free thinking ideas, right? We need to gain that from a different perspective. And then he brought up the whole ideas of parents and parenthood, and your kind of nature and nurture that's done in the household, you know, rather than in school. Like, school's there for a different kind of a reason. And in a sense, I get that. But also at the same time, right, we also spend a large part of our time in school. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of that should be prioritized to where we're spending a large chunk of our time and where we're creating the most relationships as kids. You know, that's where you create your relationship, you know, with other people. It's in that kind of an educational system and background. So now I appreciate time giving us the time there. It's interesting to hear what he had to say about those subjects. Now, Jasmine here, right, I'm going to get her on in a minute, but I'm going to read out what she said a little bit. There's so much pressure on kids, particularly from year 9/GCSEs all the way up to A level, about getting the best grades and target and whatever, you know, and you getting the best grades to get to the best university, to get the best jobs. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree. The pressure is mad, and it's immense on mental, because she brought up mental health before, and it's immense on your mental health. She wrote a little bit more here, that kids aren't truly analyzed for their ability, but are tested on their memory. You know what? We need to get you online here in a second, on their memory and you're expected to meet requirements throughout every year of education. It's ridiculous, right? So here's what I have to say about that, yeah, which I think is necessarily true. I agree with everything that Jasmine has basically just said there, because in a sense, yeah, your education is generally a memory test. It's not, how the hell are you gonna measure intelligence, yeah? I'm saying a teacher, yeah, says to me in school one day that 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1, that's 3 quick maths. You know what I'm saying, yeah? She says that, right? So and you know the question, yeah. What's 2 times 2 minus 1 gonna be in your test paper? You know that's gonna be, right? So it's essentially memorizing how to work that out. It's a memory test, yeah. It's a memory thing, yeah. So how does that measure intelligence rather than memory? And it's the same for a lot of things, right? For a lot of different things, you know. A lot of the kind of general sciences out there, you know, again, you have to put applied learning to a lot of things, but also a lot of things are just down to simple memory as well. So I don't necessarily understand how you can be put it just doesn't make sense to me. And at that age, yeah, it is extremely flawed and can be seriously damaging, yeah, on mental health issues with young people, right? We know they have to deal with things like puberty and whatnot and all that things that comes with being them ages there, you know. You understand what I'm saying? So just read one more thing from time here. The education system is built to support the working world creators, provide rankings so that companies can fill applicants. And right, time. I get that. I agree with it. Of course, that's what it's there for. That's precisely what it's there for. I understand what you're saying, time. But when you put it down like that, then companies aren't necessarily going to be picking the best people, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Because just because you're in a higher set and you have higher grades, right, in your exams or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're best for the role. That's what I'm saying. In this country, in the UK especially, and I know this because I'm from the UK, times in the UK, a lot of people here are watching are from the UK. In the UK especially, right, I believe employers care more about your work experience than your education, because they know that actually what matters is how you work within the real world. Do you know what I mean? Your education is just something that can just prove that you're able to learn and memorize, right? When you put real world application and job experience into something, that's what really matters. So Tam, I understand what you're saying, yeah. That's necessarily how it's done. But when you look, as we progress further and further along, we're starting to see more employers that, do you know the last time I got asked to see my GCSEs? I don't. A-levels, I don't remember the last time. My degree, I can tell you one person that asked to see my degree, and that one person was 0 people. You understand? Yo, is Jasmine available? Yo, Jasmine, we're gonna see if you wanna go live now. We're inviting Jasmine to join the talk because she had a lot of interesting things to say in the comment section. So Jasmine, if you wanna join, all right, here she is.
Hello.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to Insights and Chill.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So just explain to the people real quick what you were just saying in the comment section there.
Yeah. There's 2 points I think I have to make. Primarily is that it's bad for mental health because of the pressure, because of overprojection and targets and stuff. Like personally, I remember I've always been good at English, like languages, and I've always been getting the best grades, if you want to say. And I moved schools and they moved my target down to like an average grade. And I was like, oh no, but I'm still really driven. I want to get the best. I'm sort of like being a bit of a hypocrite because I've always wanted to get the best, even though I think that's bad for most people. And we were like, okay, why isn't my target if I want to achieve that an A star? And they were like, oh, well, it's because if we look like you overachieve, then it's to do with money. And it might have just been that school, but it's to do with money. Education system's to do with money, and it's all to do with the government. And they don't actually consider how much pressure they're putting on kids with telling them they need to get certain grades and telling them they should be in a certain set and making them be a certain way. They don't take into consideration an individual's mental health needs, and they just go, we'll pigeonhole you in the average bit and we're not going to concentrate on you. And they don't take time. The education system as a whole doesn't take time to like analyze everyone's needs and focus on them as a person, but they just pigeonhole them and are like, yeah, B, C, A, B, whatever, and they don't really care, I think. I don't know.
No, do you know what no, it's interesting because I generally have the same views on what you're saying just now, you know, and just there, you wrote something in the comment section that you didn't just bring up there, is that you spoke about the whole kind of memory thing and putting into sets of education is basically determined on how well you can memorize. You just wanted to go into a little bit of detail about that real quick.
Yeah, it's just a test of memory. Like, it's not a test of your real ability at all. Like, education doesn't assess your intelligence, I don't think. I think it's based on how many words you can remember, or like English, for example, it's like how many quotes you can remember of mice and men. It's not your ability to communicate in the English language.
Yo, that was a sick book, though. That was a sick book. That was a sick book, yo. No disrespecting on mice and men on here. That was big. I know you're not disrespecting them, though. But no, precisely. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, Jasmine, no, we just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. So, thank you so much for joining the chat and giving us your time. I appreciate it. We're going to let you go now, but stay don't go anywhere because we're not done yet, okay? But thank you, Jasmine. Thank you so much. So, yo, shout out to Jasmine there for and you know, she spoke about mental health. She spoke about memory, and you know, a lot of things there. And, you know, I generally agree on a lot of what Jasmine had to say. I hope you guys there were just listening. A lot of it was very true. You know, when I was listening, I just had a look at the chats, and you know, Ryan has mentioned something here that is quite important, I think. Right. So Ryan says employees, and he kind of has this kind of comes from somewhere what Time was saying as well. So Ryan says employers and innovators have to inform the education system, but that also has its changes too, right? So going back, that kind of leads off of what Time was saying about education system is kind of like a filtered process for employers to pick the best applicants for jobs. So basically, I think what Ryan was saying is kind of leading off that. Again, I'll read it one more time, is what he said. Here's that employers and innovators have to inform the education system. Yeah. So, and he says that necessarily has its changes. So I think I know what Ryan says by that. But if Ryan, if you're still there, if you can write a comment, or even if you want to join, we'd love to hear what you're saying. But yeah, if you want to write a comment, I can read out your comment. But necessarily what I think Ryan means by that when he says it has its dangers is that what I kind of said before, people aren't necessarily going to pick the best person if they're just going to base it off of your grades in school and whatnot. Like, and now don't get me wrong. I know that when it gets to a university level, yeah, you have to show more than just being able to get good grades. You know, that good grades isn't going to get you your first class degree and whatnot, right? But at the same time, right, when you get your grades, you're essentially sitting a 3-hour exam, yeah, to basically get your grade or whatnot, fam. In the real working world, right, your manager's not gonna say you passed the test by taking a 3-hour exam. It's supposed to prepare you for the working world. But yeah, I've never been in a job situation yet where I've had to be in an equivalent of, say, an exam where I have 3 hours to produce a written report. And then, no, my manager will say to me, yo, Nat, you got a week to do a report. These are the guidelines. Can you give it to me? Like, more like coursework, a lot more like coursework. And if I think that's the kind of direction that we need to be aiming for. Now, I also know there are different areas of working. You know, you can go down the medicine path or the doctor path where maybe you do need to be in that pressurized situation, right? But for the most part, necessarily don't. I just want to read one more thing, right, that Time had to say here as well. So the education system is built for rankings, and that's kind of what we said. Yeah, it's built for that, right? Kwame, what's good, brother? So we're gonna read. Kwame, if you want to join, just shout out, man. We'll invite you as well. But I'll read what you had to say here, Kwame, sorry. In America, it's totally opposite. They want to have a degree, but don't care about work experience, which is unfair because yes, it's great. Do you know what, Kwame? I want to hear this, man. I want to hear this, Kwame. I'm gonna invite you, yeah. Let's see if you want to join up. But I'm gonna invite you to this chat because I want to hear about this. and how it works in the United States, right? So Kwame's my bro. He's from New York, right? He's over there from the United States across the pond, and he says it works a little bit different. I've invited him. He might not join. I've given him the option to join if he wants to join, but he says it's very different, right? Over there, your employers necessarily care about your education rather than your work experience, which he necessarily says it's unfair. It really shouldn't be that way because you haven't really put yourself into any kind of applied working situation. But so I'm going to hear what he has to say about this if he's able to join. Before that, we're going to read a comment from Ryan, going on to what I said before. So Ryan says that education is reactive, like Time says, since it's preparing us for the world. Okay, right. Kwame is joining. We'll talk. Yo, Kwame, what's going on, my dude? How are you? Yo, welcome to Insights and Chill, bro. Yo, talk to me. Tell us what you hear here.
So basically, in America, like, it's more so like they want you to have a degree rather than work experience. It's just like 4 years of, I guess, university that's university that people want you to be like, all right, let me spend this whole type of money and everything to get a higher education. But like it's more so like, I feel, because I don't have a degree. That's one thing, right? I don't have a degree. But like, I feel like people that have work experience can do better, I feel, than a person that has a degree, because it's you said it's life skills, right? Life skills allows you to have a better sense of life, I guess. Like learning from life gets you a better sense of work experience, and so I just feel like people that have work experience can not do better than people that have degrees, because I feel like people that have degrees is like a blessing, because like, whoa, you took 4 years to actually sit down and do all this work and do that and get a degree. It's like, kudos to you. But then like, what about the people that don't have degrees in America? So it's just like, what's the sense,
No. And then I agree with you. Now throughout my chat, it might be seeming like that I'm putting down whatever people that have gone through the whole education system. I respect that, like, and I understand the importance of going through the educational system. It seems like you can't really hear me too well, so I
can't really hear you.
You keep
low right now.
No, don't worry. You keep doing that. The audience can hear me. But so what I'm saying is that there deserves to be a level playing field, and I just don't necessarily feel like, again, for your example, in the United States, I mean, I would say if that's the way they're doing it, I think they're doing it wrong. I think employers are doing it wrong. They should be looking at people that do have the work experience. I know you may have done your 4 years at university or college, and as you said, kudos to you, man. Respect for that, right? You're gonna owe the government a whole bunch of money, but respect to you, fam. You know what I'm saying? But also, if you've gone out of your way, and I know you because I know you personally, Kwame. I know you personally. So I know people like you gone out of your way to go and seek work experience, right? And you should have that on your resume, on your CV. If we're in the same, it should rank just as high as having your educational experience. That's just the way I see it, or even higher. But Kwame, we appreciate what you had to say for us here on Insights and Chill, bro. I will let you go, but stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. So that was Kwame that had a little bit to say. I'm just going to go back and continue reading what Ryan had to say before I let Kwame join. So Ryan just had to say that, wait, hold on, let's just go back. Yeah, so the education is reactive, like Time says. Since it's preparing us for the working world, the curriculum needs to be created by opinion leaders / innovators. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm not sure how reactive the educational system is, though. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how reactive the educational system actually really is. Because when I was in like college and university, and we were reading some books, boy, that were from yo, dare I say, it didn't even have 2000 in it. It had 19 something. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how reactive it actually is. Again, I'm not putting any, you know, it sounds like I'm really disrespecting. You know, I did my 4 years of university, and I love the 4 years of university I did. You know what I'm saying? I sat down at my university. I listened to my lectures. You know, I wrote down my notes. I got my degree and whatnot. But at the same time, at university, I made sure that I was getting my work experience too, because I knew how important I was going to be, and I know that not necessarily, like a lot of people out there. There are some great like teachers out there, educators out there that will employ the importance of work experience, right? And I guess at some point it has to go down to you as well. So time just says we're going to wrap up here in a second. That it's too much of a big institution to react quick enough. Yeah, I agree with that. But so guys, yeah, just to wrap up, you know, I just want to thank Time, Jasmine, and Kwame for all giving me the time here. But that's what I kind of had to say. You know, I say. You know, I don't think anyone managed to change my mind. I still think the educational system is irrelevant to life, you know. But for the most part, it's about how you spend your time in education. You know, for all the young people out there that are listening, I think it's about how you necessarily spend your time in education, and it's what you make of it. You know, you can be young enough. There's, you know, when you're looking at your primary school years, you know, that there's a problem there. There is a problem there, as what Jasmine kind of wrote of, like, it's deflating, especially if according to the system you're not smart enough. It's deflating, right? And it can have a serious impact on mental health. It can, right? You think you're not good enough, but as you go through the college and universities, it's essentially what you make of it yourself. Anyway, yo, people, I got some exciting news before we wrap up here. Yo, if you've been following along, you know that I've been all promoting Why So Social, hashtag Why So Social, which is my documentary, which looks at social media use amongst young people and the addiction of it. So I'm happy to say that we have completed part one. Part one of the documentary is completed, and we have a release date, people. We have a release date of Sunday. Of this Sunday, part one of Why So Social is going live. I will make sure everybody knows where it is, how to view it. But part one looks at anxiety and depression amongst young people using social media. I've interviewed a bunch of people. We've traveled the country, people. We've traveled the country. We're making it work. You know, part two, we'll look at bullying. That's in about 3 weeks' time. Part three, we'll look at communication. That's in about another 6 weeks' time. But part one is going live. It's looking at depression and anxiety amongst young people using social media, and kind of the whole idea about not wanting to be left behind. So I can't wait to show the world the documentary I've been working on. People, it's been effort, but we're there. But yo, anyway, as Ryan says, I'm Black Easy. Peace out to you. Bye.